Good evening. Well,
Okay.
good evening, my chairman.
Yeah, let's roll. It's four. It's four. It's four.
Hello.
Good afternoon, distinguished senators here in Nigeria, in the diaspora. Thank you for joining us for the fourth edition. Interesting past three editions, and today's edition promises to be even much more interesting because we're going to be talking about politics in nation building. And I know politics is very close to our heart. Our nation, our country, Nigeria is close to our heart. Whether we're in the UK or in the US, anywhere we are in the diaspora, we want to ensure that Nigeria takes its place in the Committee of Nations as indeed the giant of Africa. So I'd like to welcome you. We already have 34 participants at 4 as we're starting. The world of a power-packed panel today, and we're hoping that, yes, we might not solve everything in this 90 minutes, but we indeed will be able to talk to a lot of things that have been our concerns and to also hear from the other side how it's been, because we have a lot of perceptions, we have a lot of assumptions, especially when it involves politicians or politics. And we say we don't want to, politics is a dirty game, we don't want to get ourselves sword, but is politics indeed dirty, or are we the ones who are not putting ourselves forward? We're going to hear from our panelists, and we do have our moderator, Senator Timenyi Uwejamumero. Yes, he's not in politics, but he's had to work with people in government and politicians, and he's also worked in the social sector. So I think he's also best suited for this position. Once again, I'd like to welcome you and also ask at this point that you join me in having a colleague, because he's the chair of the JCI Mauritius Association, Senator Riyad Subrati. He'll be giving us his welcome address, and he'll be sharing one or two things with us before we get into the proper panel discussion. Good afternoon and have a lovely, lovely time with us. You're welcome. Yeah.
Senate Chairperson Kunbi Wuraula. I would like to recognize also the moderator, Senator Timenyi, also senators who are present, panelists, all senators who are there. Good evening, and thank you for inviting me to be for my opening remarks. So the big question that we had in the past regarding JCI in politics, whether JCI members could be involved in politics. There are two schools of thought about this, because the Constitution actually says that we cannot do politics when we are JCI members. This is one of the interpretation about it. However, the next article following that says that we should not associate religion and JCI. It is the same, both articles have the same words, only the difference is politics is substituted by the word religion. So the question is, can we JCI members adhere to a certain religion when we are a member of the organization? And another thinking, can we adhere a political party when we are JCI members? So in 2007, I was National Vice President of JCI Mauritius, and we had the visit of the world president, Scott Greenlee. And I asked him the question at the board meeting. And he told me that he was advisor for the President Bush during his electoral campaign, and he was doing politics for the Republican Party. But when he's doing politics, he doesn't wear his JCI pin, and when he's in JCI, he doesn't wear his umbrella of politician. So he says that when we are able to differentiate between these two, we can go for politics while being JCI members. And we had senators in Mauritius, one senator particularly, who has been involved in politics, who has been a minister. We have been inviting him in our functions. We have requested his help very often, especially when we went at the press, when we went at the national TV for coverage. So we did have a minister who was a past national president and senator of the organization. But then, why should our members engage in politics? For this, we have to go back in history. We go back for a walk in history for a few seconds, and then we will understand that our organization was based on the philosophy that we are going to grow in an organization to be able to engage ourselves within the community, engagement in civic actions. So what is politics actually? Politics is the same, an engagement of someone into not only a community, but a region at a larger spectrum. So what we are doing for the past 10 years, JCI has reoriented the organization. We have been reoriented towards active citizenship. How did we do that? We are encouraging our young members to take all the development opportunities within the organization, sharpen their sense of responsibility, act differently from a normal citizen, think differently, talk differently, and eventually act differently. We are grooming our members to be community developers, to act within the community for a positive change. Adding to this, last year when they did the new strategic plan for JCI, the 2019 and 23 JCI plan of action, strategic plan, they upgraded again the sense of active citizenship. They even said that with the pace at which the 21st century, at which it is going, we will have to upgrade ourselves to everyday change makers because we cannot sit and watch. So if tomorrow JCI continues to give such kind of development opportunities to our young members, to the young people of the community of the country, they are being groomed so that they sharpen their sense of responsibility. They want to act in the community, and at even a higher level, we could become a source of leadership for politics, because we will have a generation who thinks, talk, and act differently. And as our 2016 JCI president said, when I was vice president assigned to Africa and the Middle East, he said, stop the talking and just act. We have to act nowadays. We cannot keep talking, keep analyzing, keep putting everything, blaming everyone, but except ourselves. We need to act. We need to encourage the young people to act. But however, there is a process. The process is you get groomed within the organization, you take the responsibilities, you climb the leadership ladder, and then eventually you prove yourself to be capable to work in the community, you take the challenges of the organization, and then eventually you get prepared to embark in another journey, which is the political journey. Thank you for your attention. This was my opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Senator Rayat Zabrati. And I think that what you have said definitely has set the pace for what we're going to be doing after now in terms of the panelists. I'm going to hand over to past national presidents. It's so funny. This panel has 3-4 people that have a lot of things in common. I see 3 past national presidents, past President Timenyiwe Jamumere, past President Joko Odebumi, and past President Tunde Anifowose Kelani. And I also see two past JCI Nigeria Senate Association chair in person of Senator BK Ogala and Senator Joko Tade Odebumi. I hand over to you, our moderator for the day.
You forgot to mention Senator Apiafi.
I'm talking about the panelists. The panelists for today, sir. The panelists for today are the ones. Of course, we have so many other past JCI past presidents and chair, JCI Nigeria Senate Association chair. At the end of the event, I'll be acknowledging and recognizing them. I want to hand over because I know that we're eager to start. I see so many people who are already online. We're waiting to hear from our panelists. Over to you, past National President Timenyi Uwejamumeri.
Thank you very much, Senate Chair, JCI Senator Kumbi Wurola, and past National President. Thank you for this opportunity to share and moderate this meeting this afternoon. And like our friend Riyad had said, we are active citizens and we have to stop the talk and go on to act. I think that's the essence of this afternoon's meeting. We've had 3 webinar series previously on the leadership excellence for national development. This is the 4th, and this 4th one is anchored on the theme of politics and national development, or politics in national development. We want to look at the way politics influence development. It's our belief that nations rise or falls based on the quality of its political actors. The collective ideology, their collective vision, sense of duty, accountability, and their ability to deliver results that are effective, efficiently delivered, and give value for money. We are in Nigeria very challenged on these grounds. The Association of JCI Senators is a group of people who are now honored life members of the association or of the organization itself. And the purpose of the organization is to create positive change. The essence of this meeting is to help us start a process by which our political actors can help to create positive change. Political actors come from different perspectives of different dimensions. They could be organized political parties, they could be individual politicians or political office holders. They could be civil society, media, pressure groups. They could be lobbyists, and of course, the citizens themselves, who are the voters who elect the political office holders. Today's discussion will be led by 3 of our eminent past officers, and of course, JCI senators, who have tested the waters of politics. They've been there, they've contested elections. Some have lost, some have won. All 3 of them have been in appointed positions or political leadership positions in their various parties. We've brought them together today to bring their perspectives to help us think as JCs and as Nigerians of the issues that trouble us, and to advise our upcoming members who want to also go into politics. Above all, we hope that we'll come out with actionable points that we can pursue as JCs to help improve our country. I will give you a brief bio of the 3 of them who are on the panel. I'll start with Joko Tade Odebumi. Joko Tade was a JC at Obafemi Awolowo University. She joined in 1987 and continued her JC career into the National Forum at the Ikeja chapter. She's a versatile trainer. She's a graduate of the Excel program and international graduate scheme of the training school for Juno Chamber International. She attended the 15th JCI Academy in Fujisawa in Japan. She was national president in 2003 and JCI vice president, supervising 6 European countries of Russia, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Ukraine, and Belarus. And she was chair of this association between 2014 and 2016. In politics, Joko has cut her tooth. She was 2-time commissioner in Ogun State. She was commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, and she was also commissioner for housing. Joko went as far as contesting the office of Deputy Governor of Ogun State and in 2011, and she was not successful in that endeavor, but she came out with very good lessons. She was also commissioner representing Ogun State at the Federal Character Commission in Abuja. She's a member of the People Democratic Party, through which she ran for office, all of those appointments and offices. She's a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and of course, a mentor to many, many young ladies. Please welcome Joko to this panel. The second panelist is Tunde Anifowose Kilani, a PhD and a chief of the area Oloye Wura of the Muslim Light in Ibadan. He joined the JC's in Ogun State College of Education, Ijebu-Ode, in 1987. He became national president in 2005, and he was president of Ibadan Law prior to that in 2000-2001. In politics, Tunde was chairman of Oyo State Action Alliance 2007 to 2013. He was national chairman, or is currently national chairman of Action Alliance. He got into that office in 2013. He's facing litigation in that office at the moment, so he's got a lot of lessons from that aspect as well. He was chairman of the 3SC Shooting Stars 2012 to 2013, a very strong candidate for presidency. He contested the presidency of Nigeria in 2015 and 2019 under the ticket of the Action Alliance. An educationalist, Tunde has been a mover of pillars and supporting a lot of universities outside this country in Canada, Germany, United Kingdom, United States, Spain, and UAE to recruit and place young children and students in various programs. Please welcome Tunde to this program. The third panelist is Babatunde Kwame Ogala, Esquire. Babatunde joined Ikeja Junior Chamber in 1986 and rose to be president in 1992. Between that period of time, he served in various capacities, including Secretary General of the Nigerian Junior Chamber in 1991, GLC in 1992, and he was Executive Vice President of Nigerian Junior Chamber in 1994. He became the Senate Association, is a past chair of the Nigerian Senate Association, and also a past chair of the African and Middle East Senate Association. In politics, Babatunde Kwame Ogala was member, Lagos State House of Assembly, 2007 to 2011. He is the immediate past national legal advisor of the All Progressive Congress, APC. He's a legal luminary. BK, as we call him, is a member of Nigerian Bar Association and is a member of the African Bar Association. An erudite speaker, very articulate debater, and mentor to many young persons. So that's our panel. Now the question is, where do we go from here? We've had development false starts in Nigeria for many years. Some of us say that we've been 60 years as a nation, yet we're not making much progress. We've brought the panelists together to help us to unravel this. We will look at this from the visioning perspective. So we'll ask three central questions. The first is they will talk to us about where we are at the moment, where politics has brought us to as a nation, or where we are as a political country, and where we want to be as Nigerians in politics and towards development purposes. And lastly, they will also talk to us about how do we get to where we want to be. But first, we'll give them 5 minutes to give us an introductory statement on where we are as a nation and where we want to be. Within those 5 minutes, I think they will give us some thoughts that we can consider. Please feel free to send your comments as soon as you can into the chat box. We'll be taking the comments after their presentations and your questions as well, which they will reflect upon during the next rounds. So please, I will start, as I introduce them, I will start with Joko Odebumi, to please take the floor. Thank you very much. Joko, please, you have the floor, 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, moderator. Good afternoon, Senate Chair. Good afternoon, Senate Chair for Africa. Past presidents, I greet you. Two quick things. The moderator said that I'm a member of PDP. I was in PDP. I need to make that very clear because we're having a political discussion. And then secondly, the the most difficult political position that I had to run for. You left EVP Area A in JCI. Okay, where are we now? I seem to remember growing up in a country where we had water, where we had electricity, where we had security, and where we had fantastic public schools. A lot of us on this platform, except the younger ones maybe, went to public schools, I am sure. And we are all here today. What went wrong? I'm not going to take 5 minutes because I think that this topic is best addressed in a discussion session. It's best addressed when we have questions rather than speak at you, because the question, we are in politics. We know what we've seen, but we don't know what you want to know. So I'd rather, as a person, look at it that way. How did we get here? It's a combination of many things. I don't think it's fair to say that it is only the politicians, in quote and unquote, that got us to where we are today. Don't forget, we had a succession of military governments. I think that the first problem that we had in this country that got us to where we are today was the discovery of oil. I think that that made us lose focus. I remember our head of state at that time said our problem is not money, it is how to spend it. And therefore we got careless, we got comfortable, and I dare say we got arrogant. And when politics came in, the arrogance came to the fore, especially for those of us who consider ourselves technocrats or polished or whatever. And we started telling ourselves that politics is too dirty. Politics should not be entered. Politics is this, politics is that. And that meant that we left governance we left people who, excuse my language, who probably charlatans, people who shouldn't even be there. Those were the ones who got into our political space. And that meant that since the wise ones refused to come forward and govern, the foolish ones got there and made the laws that all of us had to obey, and we're all seeing the results of it. The few people who have something to offer, who are there, are not enough to affect that political space the way we should. That is what I think brought us to where we are today. How we're going to get to where we should be, how we're going to get there, we will probably come to that conclusion as we go on. But I think that all of us have a collective, we should accept collective responsibility as to why we are where we are today. Mr. Moderator, I'd like to wait until the question and answer session, but I think that this concept of politics is too dirty. We cannot get involved is part of why we're where we are today. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much, Joko, for that intervention. I think that you hit the nail on the head, but I would wait to hear from the other two panelists before I do a summary. Tunde, could you let us know what your thoughts are? Where are we now as a country? Where has politics brought us? And where should we be? You need to unmute your microphone, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, where are we now? Yeah, where are we? 2020. We've had 31 years of democracy, and we have 29 years of military rule out of the 60 years of our existence as a nation after independence. So that's where we are as a country. It means we've had 31 years of all put together successful democracy. And for the past 21 years, we've had uninterrupted democracy as a nation. That's where we are. And thank God that now we have more years of democracy than the military rule. And consistently for 21 years now, we've had democracy. And we have no excuse as a nation not to improve. We have no excuse as a nation not to be better. We have no excuse as a nation not to be doing well. Before this is the first time we have a very long time of years of uninterrupted democracy. So, and if you look at all these things put together, 31 plus 29, that's 60 years of Nigeria. You will agree with me that all of us, one way or the other, have contributed to either the downfall or the growth of this country in one way or the other. Without dwelling into the past of how the military coup, civil war, they're coming out of that, having a truncated democracy. But now, as a nation, we've had uninterrupted one, which leads us to the fact that we have no excuse as a nation not to be better. Having looked at what has been happening in Nigeria, and we as JCs, with enormous training we always go through with our personal resources, and after JCs, most of us, we put all those trainings behind us. And one way or the other, all of us, we involve in political machination and undercurrent within our years of JC career. And that's what I thought after my presidency in 2005, that I should join politics in 2006. I waited till I finished my JC career and I joined politics in 2006 to go there. All those trainings that we've had in the JCs in a very, very hard way. All those things we've learned by a practical approach, go back and put it there in our community and our nation at large. And where are we now? This is where are we. According to United States Institute of Peace, USIP, fact sheet, USIP hosted our President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 after the election. And the country promised them what we're going to do very, very well. And subsequently that same year, they hosted President Obasanjo to the United States Institute of Peace. And the following year, they hosted about 11 to 15 governors of Nigeria on this democracy and how we should be better in Nigeria. And in 2019, after the election, they came up with this. I contested in 2015 by the special grace of God. And luckily for me, I had votes all over Nigeria, in every state of this country. But during the course of this discussion, we get to that, why I got votes. They are not just votes, but Nigerian votes all over the country. But now let me get you to where we are so that we can move on quickly, because we have a lot to discuss. And I'm for the school of thought that we should have more of doers, there are more of talkers, there are more of ideas. There are too many in Nigeria that nothing is happening. You have people that have to participate, because a major issue in Nigeria is that what we are saying is not what we are doing in Nigeria. So this is where we are. USIP, the United States Institute of Peace, said, and I quote, Nigeria as Africa's most populous country, largest economy, biggest democracy. Nigeria is bewildered for the continent of Africa. National and state elections 2019 were deeply competitive, with scattered instances of violence amid a mostly peaceful process. However, historically, low voter turnout signal a deepening distrust in government and institutions. Overall,
Mr. President, you have to.
Overall, Nigeria, let me just finish the quote and I will stop because of the time. Overall, Nigeria has made major strides in democratic development, but still has significant work to do in improving national, state, and local governance. That's where we are today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that intervention. Very, very, very apt at the moment. So we've heard from Joko and from Tunde. Now we want to take from Kwame. Kwame has been, he said, at an office which we discussed earlier that he believes is not political but professional. So he's a professional in politics, as it were. Kwame, what's your position? Where are we now?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. First, so because I see that I have limited time, I will first wish to adopt Joko's submission wholesale as mine. And in so I don't need to repeat what has already been said. In so doing, you will permit me to start from the keynote or forward we had from President Mauritius, where he said something, and that struck me. Scott Greenlee was advisor to President Bush. And when he's in JCI circles, he drops his advisory position. When he's in politics, he drops his JCI pin. For me, that perhaps explains where our problem as a country is. So it means it is global. I ask myself one question. If I belong to a leadership development organization, like the Junior Chamber, which prepares me for leadership, why should I be shy from displaying that before the political class? In fact, the challenge is thrown to me now is that in my political circles, I must wear my JCI pin henceforth. Let them ask questions. What is that organization is about? Because it prepared me for leadership. And the problem of the country, is it about politicians and politics? I say no, because who is a politician is the question I ask myself. Being a partisan politician and a politician are different things. And politics is played at different levels. But the major problem we have is the apathy of the people. The political class, which includes me, includes Joko and the rest of us who dare to participate, have not fallen from heaven. We have not come from outer space. We have come from within the people. So our problem is with the people. The fact that I elect to join politics does not make me different. And what is the population of those of us who you even call politicians in governance? Relate that to the civil service. Relate it to the pressure groups. Relate it to the people. Relate it to the voters. We account for less than 1%. Major problem in Nigeria today, misgovernance, all centers around corruption. I ask, which one of us is not guilty of corruption and nepotism? From me being a member of the House, and I'm expected to donate the kind of monies I don't earn. In church, I'm expected to be chairman of a certain harvest committee. In my community, I'm being given meaningless titles. I'm being awarded honorary doctorate degrees. That means nothing. When I was in the House, I got no fewer than 100 of that. I had chieftaincy titles. And once I asked one of them, what qualifies me? He says, your performance in the House. Tell me in specific terms. He couldn't, it was also about the 500,000 I was going to pay. So again, when you expose me to that, you put such pressure on me, what level of governance do you expect of me? So when we talk about politicians and political class, they are not the problem. We are the problem collectively. I have often heard JCI is not interested in politics. How do we shape opinions? How do we throw our best hands forward? If we say we are not interested in politics, then what is the meaning of us being a leadership development organization if after I'm trained to age 40 for leadership, I just go back to bed with it and I don't put it forward that day. And I don't become a Scott Greenlee, who you can say is an advisor. So then you've invited some of us because we elected to take the skills we have learned into governance. In the Lagos State House of Assembly where I sat, I can tell you, for those who know, I was credited to have been a very good member. Where did I acquire these skills? This beautiful organization. As National Legal Advisor, my opinion counts. It counted, it still counts till date. Because they will tell you, he will do it properly, he will do that and will not do that. and honor, integrity, and what have you. These are some values we took from here. But when good people stay away, foolish men who make foolish laws, that the wise must obey. And that is why we are where we are. The political class comes from within us. It is not our problem. Our society, our values is the major problem. Because when a man gets to an office, you expect him. You are already preparing for corruption. The society, what has the complaints? He has not helped anybody. He's not helping anybody. Ask me, how does a minister help you? If you want a job, bid for it. But no, you don't want to bid. You want Joko as commissioner to use the office to grant you favors, irrespective of whether you are qualified. She doesn't do it, it's all over the place. Will she help? So our values, for me, are the biggest problem. You said the political class, Joko even said the military. I'd say no. The military came from within our class. From within our class. The politicians come from within our class. I say, no politician, no public office holder can have access, for instance, to public funds, manipulate figures without the active connivance of civil servants who even teach us how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, they will teach you. Okay?
Thank you.
So, sir, my conclusion is the problem is in all of us, and part of it is good people also avoiding to be part of good governance. Because I say again, sir, 3 of you and I in your ward can make a difference. We can influence thoughts, we can influence decisions, but if we stay away, we will have the charlatans, like Joko called them, continue to lead us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your intervention. I think we've had very good, starting points at the moment. I would, before I summarize, I just want to recognize in the House several of our key politicians who have been in several offices. I would name one person as an arrowhead of the group of local government chairmen, members of houses that I see on the participants list. And that person will be JCI Senator Emmanuel Uduaghan, who was governor of Delta State. You're welcome, JCI Senator. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. At some point, we hope that we will be able to hear your reflection as well as we go on. I would request again that please send in your questions and comments on the chat box. We are monitoring that and we'll come to that shortly. I take away from the conversation so far 3 key points. And the 3 key points are this. One is that the good people have stayed out of politics, and the longer the good people stay away out of politics, the more charlatans and people who do not have the credibility and integrity to deliver or the capacity will continue to lead those of us who are not in politics. So it is an encouragement, it's a clarion call to all of people who feel that they have some level of capacity to be in politics, to get in it. The other point is that we are all responsible as a society for the situation where we find ourselves. Our politics is not doing us right because we have community pressures, we have societal pressures, we have civil servants who are not delivering, we have different kinds of issues that are ingrown amongst us. And we as a people need to begin to change our ways to get things right. The question will be, how do we do that? We'll come to that as we make progress. The third point is that what are we going to do as JCs, or what are we doing as JCs about this whole situation? Riyad and Kwame talked about this, the experience of as a JC wanting to stay away from politics or separating politics between separating your political life from your JC life. Is that not a misnomer? The purpose of JCI is to train leaders and to train business, politics, whatever professional leaders. Why shouldn't we be bold to play politics as junior chamber members? So those are the key points that I take from this. Going forward, we started talking about a few things of where we want to be, which of course is that, yes, democracy will start going. We've had 21 years of uninterrupted democracy. I sense that Tunde wants us to continue in that direction so that we can grow and strengthen knowledge in politics. taking JC experience into political life. It's one area of progress that I see that we are chatting for ourselves. And then, of course, the fact that we want more doers and not talkers. I think that was Tunde's language going forward. So I would now look at the chat box and see whether we have questions or comments that are relevant to our conversation so far, and take that, bring that to your knowledge, our panelists. You may also look in the chat box yourselves and see whether there are some relevant questions. Our next line of discussions will give you the opportunity to tell us where you think we should be and how we should be getting there. We didn't talk very much about where we should be. I want us to look at that in the next round of conversations or interventions from you, and how you think we should get there. Are there course directions or changes that we need to take to make us get there? We have several persons commending the interventions that you've made already. We think that somebody, Charles Onyebe, says that the recycling of the same people, and particularly the wrong set of people, is a big issue. So I think this is in the light of the question of who is in politics, and do we need fresh blood, people who are knowledgeable and capable to deliver. And he continued to say that the level of greed is too obvious. Greed is personal, is a personal vice, which has denigrated to national vice. And we think I think maybe you need to reflect on that and give us your perspective. Senator Cornelius Senitoje says that the process of leadership selection in our polity still leaves much to be desired. How do we ensure that our best brains have a chance to compete for the highest offices in the country? Yes, somebody summarized BK, says 1% of politicians, 99% followers. Apparently is referring to who is responsible. That's from Adebayo Morakinyo. Is this true? What is the reflection that you guys have? Charles is very active. He says he agrees with Uncle Senator BK, but it also means our morals are in question if other outside pressure affects our decision and our principles. We should stay on our values and principles no matter the situation. It will take time, but we'll get there. So somebody says, Desiri Ekokota says, politics isn't dirty, but there are dirty people in politics. Okay, so that's agreeing with the earlier conversations. So let's say good people don't stay out of politics. They are just not allowed to get to the positions. And if they do, they have to kowtow to the charlatans. Is this true? Are we saying that BK, is not a good person? Tunde is not a good person? Or, Joko is not a good person? Do good people get into office? Don't we have good examples in politics? And how far do we have people who can stand up to the political bigwigs and take the right things or right decisions? You may want to reflect on that, the panel. Muyiwa Moyela says the JC brand remains strong, and we have had several JCs in politics and governance. Can we begin to grow the JCI share of voice in public policy discourse by taking sessions like this public? So making, situations like this, but I think that will go to the Senate leadership for our consideration. Filio says, underlining detractors, the underlining detractor, which surprisingly has influenced and disrupted success of our leaders, both military and Democrats, and cutting across all, Kada has been great. So that coming back to the question of greed as well. Funmi Ayola, who also is a politician, very strong candidate from Surulere. I think even within JCI, our politicking system of godfatherism leaves a lot to be desired. If we miss it in JCI, how do we impact the country? BK reacted to that, but you will have the floor, so I won't read your comments here, BK. Okay, that's you as well, Joko. So godfatherism is a Desiri Godfatherism is a prominent factor in Nigerian politics. Where do JCI Nigerian members stand in such as a political landscape? I think that's something that we need to look at. So let's look at the questions that we've looked at so far. It's more around, good people getting into politics or not being shut out, and Godfatherism and issues of that nature. Can I get feedback from Tunde on this? What's your reflection? 2 minutes, sir. Your microphone, sir. Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry, please. Thank you very much. If you look at our culture in Nigeria and the way we do our things in Nigeria, the culture of the different from different regions, you see that we love to do things like family affairs, brotherhood, and so on and so forth. And over the years, we brought such into politics. And what I've seen from my own practical aspects of going to politics is that a lot of people don't want to join, they don't want to start from unknown to the known level. They don't want to start from uncomfortable place to the comfortable place. Everybody wants to belong to that class immediately. Join politics now, you want to be anything. Sir, I always use my own, in my own micro way, small way. I join a party that's not known to anybody, even though I have friends at that time who are calling me to join the big parties. But I tried to join a very small party and start funding that party at my own level, funding the party. I remember they always come to my office to collect money nearly every week, every day. And people don't know that time that I joined politics. You understand? Until I had the opportunity to become state chairman. Within 2 years that I joined the party at the local level. And within some years, within some years, I was able to be national chairman of a political party. So we sit down with all those big parties. They have a seat at INEC. I have a seat at INEC. No matter how big the party is, we sit down together and we have one vote each at that place. And for me, I've used opportunity to publicize JCI. You recall in 2015, when Jega, the INEC chairman that was calling my vote, we called JCI senator, Adefo Shikelani, and I knew so many JCI that were so happy calling me that they were so happy. I used the opportunity to promote JCI because that's where we learned a lot of those leadership skills from. So in joining in politics, all of us should try as much as we to join from the local level. Not all of us should rush to the big party. And all those things we learn in JCs. Yes, there's no way. People have to call you. At times, leadership, somebody has to see, someone must have seen that leadership in you and not call that you are a great leader. Come and be this, come and be that. There's no way we can erase that as long as we do well in our various endeavors. People will always call us to come and perform this or that in governance.
For that strategy. I think that's a very clever strategy. I will want someone else to look at the question of Godfatherism and how it influences politics. But before I do that, just to announce that we have a poll going on. We would like to recognize and put on record all the JCI senators who are with us, both those in Nigeria and those in diaspora. Please attend to the poll. The poll is on your screen at the moment. Thank you very much. I will call on BK.
Yeah, thank you. On the talk of Godfatherism, and I'm going to address Funmi direct too, because I can understand why she said what she said, having been a candidate in the last round of elections. For me, Godfatherism is not negative. The word God is there. So that means it's something positive. Godfatherism, godfathers are mentors. Whether you now chose a bad godfather or a good godfather, it's a different cup of tea. And then what you want to pick from that godfather. We have children and we say, oh, Timei is my son's godfather. So when does it become negative in politics? But all over the world, it is inevitable that you have critical stakeholders that you must talk to. In the US elect today, I'm not too sure anybody will want to seek a Democratic Party ticket and will say we'll not talk to Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. As old as Jimmy Carter is, we'll go to him. The Bill Clinton's deputy back there, Al Gore, the likes of Kennedy, those are godfathers. In the Republican parties, you have the Bushes. Those are godfathers. So godfatherism is nothing negative. You will not be British Prime Minister and not want to reckon with the likes of the Margaret Thatchers of this world if they are alive, or the John Majors and who have you. You will not go in France and not be talking to the likes of Mitterrand and the rest of them past president. They are godfathers. And that's why you seek their endorsement. So they become bad when you don't get their endorsements. But when you get it, they are good. I come to Fumi, who talks about making it impossible. Yes, power is not served at a dinner table. Power is not buffet and is not a tea party. If you want power, like anything, like in business, you struggle for it. You want to contest elections. For me, I will use it as a classical example. Your poster was boldly in front of my office, as if you deliberately put it there to come and taunt me. But could I have worked for you no matter how much quality I think you possess? No. Because for me, you chose to start from the top. Your party that you contested on had no structure in any ward. You built bottom up. I started at my ward level. I started with NADECO. In 1992, we flirted with SDP. Then we went into NADECO. In 1999, I was local government legal advisor. I was local government delegate. From there, at some point, I tried to go to the House of Reps. Then I stepped it down to the House of Assembly. I went to the Assembly 4 years. I was out of office. I didn't. I was not deterred. I kept being active. Come 2018, National Legal Advisor. 2023, I don't know what he holds in stock. So if we want to, and we are serious about confidence, you must cultivate people. You must, those who have invested in power over time, you do not expect them to hand it over to you, a complete outsider. Sabitos gave his example. Classical example of how it works is our peculiar environment. It costs money, yes, but you can also go in there and make yourself almost, put yourself in a position where they cannot ignore you. I'll tell you in my politics, at the national level, you do not need to like me. You can love me, you can hate me. But I put myself in a position where you cannot ignore me. You might say, BK is too blunt. BK is this. But I put it in such a way that you won't say he's stupid. I don't like him because of his views. I don't like him because, you won't say because he's compromising. We won't say because he does not know what he talks about or he does not know what he stands for. So once we establish that, and for those of us who talk,
that was it.
Like politics is not.
We have to summarize.
Okay, I'll summarize. The main problem when people talk about godfatherism are simply people who do not want to pay their dues. If Bayo Adeosun, I'm looking at here, if Bayo says, BK, I want to join politics, which state do you want to? Okay, go to X person there. 2 years down the line, I can say, Bayo, you qualify for House of Assembly now. Let's go there. But Bayo says, no, I want to start from the Senate. And he goes to a party that does not have more than 2 rooms in Abuja as his headquarters and nothing anywhere. And he wants to win an election. He's only wasting time. You do not start overnight. You must build structures. And it takes years. Sorry, sir. It takes years.
Yeah, we're pressed for time. We're pressed for time.
An individual on your merits. Mr. Moderator, sir, there are people we even go to invite. Adam Sashomole is an example. Because he had built a structure as labor leader, SCN saw him as an asset. Akeredolu is another. He had been NBA president. We saw it as an asset in our party. For those of us, what have we built?
Thank you very much.
Within or outside politics that we now think we deserve to be called upon.
Okay,
or to be given those offices for free.
Joko,
thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I will take that point from very personal experiences and
Thank you very much. Can I go? Thank you very much, moderator. BK has said a lot.
Sorry,
has said
sorry, Joko, before you go on,
Yeah.
can you take it
Yeah.
from the angle of the process of selection of candidates? I know you went through the process of selection of candidates to vie for deputy governor position. Let's look at it from that angle. Some people say it's the challenge of selection that causes some of this problem for young people who want to get into politics.
Well, there's no way I would go to that point without doing a little bit of a history. How did I get into politics? It was because I put my JCI career out there. Everybody who knew me knew about JCI and saw some leadership skills. So when my boss was going to go into an NGO that he started with, he immediately thought of me and said, this woman has been so active in this organization. She has some qualities that I need, and invited me to join. I had no intention of joining politics, but because I put the leadership training that I had gotten, the confidence, the whatever, out there, he called me. So I joined. And of course, that meant that I had an opportunity. But still, I had to go local. I had to go and look for my ward in Ijebu-Ode. I had to stay active there. It doesn't take a lot to be active at ward level. A little bit of money. If you go to your ward meeting and you buy a carton or a crate or a couple of crates of soft drink and some biscuits, and they take a snack, you have a meeting. By the next meeting, our leader has come. It doesn't take a lot, but you have to, sacrifices must be made. Even in JCI, when you want to run for office in this, our wonderful organization, you get put through the ringer. How many people who got offices didn't go through stuff to get to those offices? Was it easy to get to national president? Was it easy to get to local chapter president? So JCI is even a good training ground for politics. If you have been in JCI and you are not a good politician, then there is a problem. Then you begin to show what you're made of. You begin to show what you're made of. I see Sunday Falayo cracking a joke that stomach infrastructure. Excuse me, you have to do something to catch their attention. I didn't say give them money. They're going to eat. They're at a meeting. They're going to talk for 2 hours. Oh, somebody has bought us something to snack on. It's no big deal. You buy biscuits when visitors come to visit you in the house. So you need to do something to get attention. That's what I'm trying to say by that. So I came into the office. Then you have an opportunity to show the stuff that you're made of. When you have an opportunity, you are in ward, you show them, you arrange the meeting. Maybe when you got there, it was all over the place. You put it together. They themselves will be the one to say, we must put this one. We must put this one forward. This person has shown leadership. It will then be they themselves pushing you forward. That is some kind of selection process. Then the people they begin to sing your name. Then the people at the top, so-called top, begin to ask, who is that person? We want to know who that person is. That is how you get noticed. It's how you get noticed. You don't sit back, but you cannot go to the top like everybody has said. Very few people succeed when they start from the top. Very few people. We all think we're too big to go as a councillor. So the Okada rider comes and contests as councillor. The banana seller comes and becomes councillor in your local government, and they make the laws there. And then we say the local governments are wrong. Why? What is wrong with us starting from the ward and saying, I want to be local government chairman. I want to be a ward councillor. What is wrong with that? So it's a step-by-step process. For me, it is a step-by-step process. And it is something you have to pay the price. It's a sacrifice that you must make if you want to get to the top.
Thank you very much. I think the three of you have a consensus on the fact that we have to pay the price. We have to start from the base. We have to build up. But then there's the argument that in Nigeria, where do you start from? Where you have political parties without ideology, political parties without clear vision. Someone is in this party today, he runs for primaries, he didn't get nominated, he moves to the next party, and the opposition party immediately accepts him. is that encouraging? How is that not confusing for young people who believe in ideals of leadership and clear, political structures that will respect boundaries and lead based on a clear vision, like we've been taught in junior chamber? You want to run for office, you come with a manifesto. You do the caucus, you lobby, you present your caucus arguments, your vision for the junior chamber, and then you get elected. And then you are given a platform to do based on the national action plan, to do your presidential plan. But do we have that in our political systems? Can I take BK to start with that? 2 minutes, sir. Are you with us, BK?
I'm with you. You say your hand. Can you take that again, sir?
So I'm saying that we get the point about starting small, starting at lower level, building up and all that. But some people come up with the argument to say, look, I'm confused, except I'm going to start a political party afresh. Which party do I join? Our political parties don't operate on ideology. Somebody loses nomination today in one party, he crosses to the opposition, is accepted immediately for the same role, and he runs the election and he wins election.
You see,
for young people.
I'll say with all sense of responsibility, those are excuses. Excuses are the excuses are the excuses. I was referring to when Sunday said stomach infrastructure, for instance. Yes, it is a way of life with us, including in the churches, where they beg you to come and donate at harvest. What do we call that? So let us not condemn one class, because she referred as Joko's biscuit as stomach infrastructure. And what makes the churches, the mosque, and any organization now faces of life different? Who wants money, 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 and more money? And let me say this, with all sense of responsibility, I commented in the chat, and I think we need to be careful so that we don't offend sensibilities. It is improper of Shade Folari to say we should get rid of those who are garbage in our politics. I think he should respect some of us here. I'm in politics, I'm not garbage. And she has no rights to say such about us, especially at a forum like this. If we're having intellectual talk, let's not reduce this to gutter. I make that appeal. I feel offended, and that's why I speak very strongly about what she wrote. And I'm sure she's listening to me. So talking about, back to the topic. You see, our political class, and when I use the word political class, I am not talking about those in the parties. We are only partisan. You and I constitute the political class. We are opinion molders. We are those who give directions. We are influencers. If we all continue to condemn, we all continue to make excuses, they won't allow me. How did they allow BK to rise to where he rose? Who allowed Joko to rise to where she rose? Who allowed Sabitos to rise to where he rose? Who allowed the Umar Uduaghan to become governor? We took something from here, we put on the table. I lost my seat in the House of Assembly in 2011. Went about my business, my work, and still was convinced about my politics. When there was a vacancy in 2018, my dear friends, with all sense of modesty, our leader said, go and find that man. That's one good material we can use. I've gone to Abuja and I'm back. And like Yoruba will say, mi o baramoje, mi o baraje. I left my mark. I went to the assembly, I left my mark. Joko was there. We were in Gateway Front together when Otumba Daniel. I was in AD there. When we had the Internet Oil Summit and we were deciding which platform, Joko, you remember, that he was going to run on. And there was no doubt that we saw a good material. It was not a matter of platform. Some of us disagree with the platform and pull back. That is not to say. And even within the opposition party, the man became sought after because both AD and PDP wanted him, even the MPP. They all wanted him. You call some whatever name today. For any political party, I am sure Umar Uduaghan today is in APC. When Umar Uduaghan came into APC, I mean, because we must use our own examples. He sought Senate tickets. We all applauded. We have a good material. And the moment he came into the race and I was seated as legal advisor, his problem became my problem.
Okay,
When
sir.
it came to the,
Can
sir,
you
and what I'm saying here is the godfathers also don't want to put up people who will let them down. Those we call godfathers, there are positives and there are negatives. A Bola Tinubu, a Benga Daniel, and I can count them by the fingertips. If you go to those people and you don't have stuff, my dear friends, you are bloody wasting your time. But our people don't want to prove themselves. They all want the short route out. And that is where you see this year, we had about 100 mushroom political parties. Their votes put together could not even win a local government election. They will tell you, oh, it is because of the system. Some are entrenched. Yes, a party of 20 years, you want to dislodge it after you register on your own in 6 months? Where is that done?
Okay, sir.
The
Thank you very much, sir.
Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the Labour and Conservatives in the West were not built in 5 years.
Okay.
They've taken hundreds of years of making their mistakes, correcting their mistakes, making mistakes, correcting them. Those who make things happen there. And Obama started from almost like an NGO. And it was suddenly discovered by Bill Clinton. He was invited to come and speak at one of their conventions. The rest about him is history. So if a Joko can make commissionership at 40, who says any one of us, some make it at 20-something. I was reading Patrick Utomi a few days ago, and he talked about how he became special advisor to the vice president at 27, subsequently to Tagari.
We have to run.
Let us prove ourselves and not hide behind the finger, say one godfather is stopping me anywhere. If you are good, no godfather will stop you.
Thank
The
you, Peter.
godfather would rather have you in his corner and want to use you to showcase you. But if good people stay away, foolish men that are available are the ones the godfather would have to use. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're trying to round up now. We've gone just over 1 hour. So we're trying to bring these conversations together. There have been several interventions that have given us some direction, but I think that we need to, zoom in on some suggestions that have come from the chat group. Some of which are around how do we ensure that women are able to participate in spite of the fact that they may not be in their state of origin, they're married somewhere or working somewhere and they cannot participate there. How does that affect their possibilities of getting into politics? Others have talked about what Junior Chamber International can do to help create platforms, either for members to get involved in politics or for mobilizing people that we know are good and can deliver dividend to the society. How do we get involved in such kinds of processes? So effectively, I'm looking out to you guys to give us some, snippets and ideas on how do we get to where we want to be as a country. Yes, we've had a lot about individual efforts and individual directions, but as a collective, what are the kind of things we need in place to get us to move towards the El Dorado, the political atmosphere that will take us to where we want to be as a country? Maybe I should start with you, Joko. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. I'm just going to talk about two. One, the first thing is about how do women get into politics? There's no other way women get into politics that's different from how men get into it. You simply go to your wards, you express the desire to become active in governance, and then you show the stuff that you're made of. Now, my advice to women, this is always where there's a problem. I'm not saying you cannot contest in the state of origin of your husband, but it's usually a difficult thing, especially because the Constitution regards your state of origin as the state of origin, your birth state of origin as of today. Now, some women, by virtue of how active they are in their husband's states, have been able to overcome that obstacle because they have shown themselves as part of that community, and therefore it is the people themselves that have recognized her as part of them. But that's not very, I remember Senator Grace Bent, who was able to do that, but it cost her her second term of election, I think. So my advice is for the women, go to where your father is known, your state of origin of your dad. Go there, go home, let them know you. Let them know whose child you are. In your little community, they probably know your father. So my advice is start from there and start from the bottom. It is not impossible. It is not what do you call it? You can do it. You just have to be determined. And then you need to carry your spouse along, because I tell you, it's not going to be easy on your home. You need your spouse to agree, and then you need to work together with your spouse as a team. But it is doable and it is not impossible. The second, what was the second question again? I forgot. Moderator.
So your second question is, what are the things that we need to put together as a nation to take us to the place where we want to be?
Well, I think that if we want to be where we want to be, then those of us who feel that we have something to offer need to come out. For as long as we stay back, then if I take a poll on this small Zoom meeting and I ask how many of us stepped out of our homes to vote in the last election, I am sure that we'll be disappointed at the results. So it starts from there. You cannot stay at home and say, I don't want them to kill me at the polling booth. I cannot go there. Then you don't have a right to complain. If you want to be a part of this country, it is part of your civic responsibility is to decide who are those who will to pretend over us. If you cannot do that one thing, forget about even taking part in elections. Forget about being contestants. Forget about being politicians. First of all, be the citizen, the good Nigerian citizen that you are. Step out, make a decision as to those who, it might not be the people from the big parties. You will be able to look at, they're from your area, starting from your ward councillor, starting from there, from your area. You know those who are good, you know those who are of bad character. So you start from there. If we can begin to start from there, then perhaps we will begin to get to where we want to get to. But for as long as you can't do that, then nobody should come and tell me that there is bad governance, because we will all be guilty of it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would seek the indulgence of the organizers to invite former Governor Uduaghan, if he's still with us, if he could make a 1 or 2 minute statement. We also have a poll on asking for so the poll for the JCI senatorship that are around is still going on, but we're having a second poll on if we met your expectation during this process. Please, could you please attend to that poll? It will pop up on your system in a short while. If we have Senator Uduaghan in the room, 2 minutes, sir. If you could just give us an intervention. Thank you. Very welcome. Hello.
Hello.
We can't hear you, sir. Yes, please go on.
Okay. Sorry, I think I'm having challenges with my system, but I just want to quickly say I want to thank all the speakers because I think they've dealt with a lot of the issues, which are the challenges. Although there's a lot more, you know, and until you get there, you might not know some of these challenges. But what I want to suggest is the way forward. Quickly, my suggestion for the way forward is that this organization must put up a strategy, if it's a team or a body or whatever, to encourage members to go into politics. And that encouragement should include making them go to their various wards, like have been analyzed by Ogala and Joko. Politics is at the local level, starts from the ward. So those people will go to the ward, and there's no way at this level that when you go to the ward, you will not be recognized. You'll be recognized. Forget it, you'll be recognized. So people will go to the ward, register in the ward, take leadership control at the ward level. Then let me also say that there are only 2 parties in this country right now that I will advise people to go into. You're either going to the APC or the PDP. Because over 20 years that we've had this democracy, somehow those are the 2 parties that have emerged as the front runners. If you go into any other party, you just want to be called a politician. I don't think there's any seriousness. If you go into any other party, I don't think you are really meaning to win. or to make an impact. So that's just my brief suggestion. The strategy will get people to start pointing at the world level. The details can be worked out later, because the time here is too short to discuss all the details of such a strategy.
Thank
That's
you
my
very
suggestion.
much, sir. Very much appreciated. I think it was good to have called you to speak. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your comments and the interventions you have made. I think that's taking us in the direction that we want to go. Reflect on the question that I've also raised on the chat group on how Junior Chamber can help to organize support for good candidates or JCI members who also want to go into politics. We have just about 2 minutes to the end of the period that I have, so that I can hand over to the organizers. I would want to summarize. I know Tunde is eager to reflect on some of the points that have been made, particularly about whether APC and PDP are the only parties in Nigeria, but we've had some very strong. I see that Fumi has mentioned that he's not referring to anybody on this panel as garbage, and on behalf of Fumi, I apologize on that. She's brought that on, and I want to appeal to BK to please hug her next time you guys meet each other. There's no politics is usually hot, and
thank you. Well taken.
I think we are good. I think we're all good. So our viewers and our listeners, please, we are a family in the Junior Chamber International. We can get very hot and touchy sometimes. I remember those caucuses where it looks like we are going to draw daggers, and then immediately we come back and all straight to appoint directors to national board. Just the style of politics. So that's why, like Tunde said, we should take some of these lessons into national politics as well. I will just do a summary now. I think we have agreed that we need to start small. We need to go back to our wards. We need to be involved, and we need to grow. It's a long-term projection. I think BK was even kind to say that in 2 years, somebody may be called upon if you have been active at your ward level. And with all of the qualities that we have as individuals, the leadership qualities that we've developed, I think we can go faster if we join politics. We talked about godfatherism, and we think that godfatherism, at least from BK's perspective, can be taken from the perspective of looking at them as mentors and working with them to grow. It happens everywhere in the world, even in Junior Chamber. I remember trying to be national president or trying to be LUM president. You've got to speak to some leaders in the LUM. Yes, you go out and conduct and get involved in the elections, but you've got to speak to people who back you up, who support you, who advise you, and mentor you into positions. So I think that we should look at godfathers from that perspective. It may look like some people have captured governance, but until you get into that mix and be part of it, you cannot change anything. You can just stand outside and keep throwing the stone. So it's good to have good godfathers, but to work with a purpose and a vision for yourself and for the country. We also have been told that we need to be out there, whatever you are doing. So if you don't want to go into politics at the world level at the moment, you can be president of your professional association. Oshomole was given as an example, who was president of Labour Congress and was selected or identified by APC to join their party. So it's possible for you to walk through other means. You can be an NGO leader, you can be a professional leader, but make your mark and be out there. Let people know you. Joko did mention that she was called upon to join a leader because of our role in the Junior Chamber International. So let's focus on that. And women have also been advised that women can play key roles and should be willing to step out, but follow the protocol, follow the laws, and be involved at the very grassroots level. And I think lastly, I would say that the suggestion from JCI Senator Uduaghan was quite apt at this time, that we should develop a strategy as an organization to help move JCs into active politics. and support a process to get and encourage what we have to get involved in the country. We've got a lot of strong leaders, women and men in the organization, life members, former members, current members who are active citizens. That should be the chair of the Senate Association to go on with the process towards taking the vote of thanks calling on the person who is going to give us the closing remarks and the vote of thanks. We also have a poll online now asking for people to identify where they are calling from to let us know who is joining from what part of the world. Please attend to that vote. Thank you very much for your time. We'll have a closing remarks now from Joko will introduce the person giving us the closing remarks, and then we have a vote of thanks as well. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Mr. Moderator, you didn't give me the right of last discussion, but no problem.
I'm sorry, sir. We are running out of time.
Yeah, yes, it's part of it as a panelist. No, even though my time was short during the course, and even the right of last discussion must be given to me. This is politics. So you have to, yes, I was supposed to have the right of
Can I
last
come in at
discussion.
this point in time? I would also just like to ask that, can we have all the panelists give us their closing remarks, something that we can take home with? And I'm going to start with Senator Tunde Anifowoshe-Kelani to give us his closing remarks. If he can do that in about 2-3 minutes, because I know there's still some things that he has inside that he wants to give us for those of us who have been listening into this session. You have the floor, Senator Anifowoshe-Kelani. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, well, I don't want us to dwell too much on that godfatherism, because it will scare so many people away from politics. So even though it exists, we know, but we should not dwell too much on it. That if without Godfather, you cannot do anything in politics. People will be discouraged, because not everybody has the mind to go through all those processes of Godfatherism. That's one. Two, like the last question, there's no political party in Nigeria that has no manifesto. If you have the opportunity to see the guidelines to register a political party in Nigeria from INEC, you will see that without your manifesto, you will not be registered. That's one. The third one, people are rushing to where there is soup, APC and PDP. That's where the soup has been made. But let me tell you, look at what's happening in Imo State. AA came there, and it was like it's not an alternative. Look at what happened to me as a JC, no godfather, joined a small political party. But later, the governor of the state in Oyo State, late Governor Ajimobi of APC, saw what we have been doing, and he brought us together to go and work with him.
No, you are saying the same thing.
Sorry? Sorry? Are you trying to interject me?
No, please continue. Please continue.
Thank you very much. So he saw what we are doing in our own small party. He brought us together. I got my first government appointment from APC government in 2012. I got my national appointment in 2015 from there, because I was in the AA, and since President Muhammadu Buhari has become president, I've been working on the ground even with APC. What we need to do is that if your party has not won, then support the person that is there, contribute your own quota for the development and be learning. Justice is about learning. And we as justice, when we get opportunities to do in governance, how many justices are we ready to help? There are easy ways to success. Everybody cannot go to local government ward. If you are living in Lagos and you are well known in your area and you are very good, you can contest election there. My origin is from Abeokuta. I live in Ibadan, and I'm contesting from anything I'm doing is from your state. It doesn't matter. You have to go to a ward if you are not known in your house. You are not known there. You are known in Lagos. You are known in Egeli. You are known in Maiduguri, and you are doing well there. You can contest there. So as much as well, we need to help ourselves. If I'm in a position now, and I know that there's a new party going to our state, I can call a JC to go and be chairman of the party there. There are easy ways to help ourselves as JCs. We are not. That's what we have to move to now. We need to expand our tentacles and help other JCs to join. You have to encourage them, motivate them to come and join. It's not that easy. Not everybody has money to waste. When I joined 2006, I was from my own company money, giving you don't have to give them money, but you have to give them money for logistics. Not everybody else can do that, but we can help ourselves. If BK can pick like 10 people, Joko can pick like another 10 people, I can pick like another 20 people, help them, mentoring them to come into national politics. It's good for JCs. You cannot sit down and give the best idea, best everything, and nothing's happening. I'm going to blame people that are there. So as much as we need to encourage ourselves to come into politics, and if everybody join APC or PDP, everybody will not get appointments. But you can you can join the alternative party and see support the APC. I've been getting a job under APC government, and I've been giving my idea on what I know how to do best. You don't have to rock the boat. How will Nigeria be better? That must be uppermost in our mind. And you see that all of us are achieving greater for this country. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Senate Chair, for giving us extra time to round up. So I will call on Joko now to give us a closing statement, 2 minutes. Your microphone.
Thank you, moderator. Quickly, I wanted to, I read a comment that Fumi said Desmond Elliott won the election and he hadn't spent years in politics. I'm glad you said Desmond Elliott. Whether you like it or not, the fact that he was an actor gave him a huge following already. I'm sure people voted for him, not necessarily because they thought he had, but that fact that he was an actor, well known, he would have gotten some votes. And that was probably why the people who gave him that ticket gave it to him, because they felt that some hurdle had already been crossed. It goes back to what I said earlier, that for you to be successful in politics, you must be known at your local level. Every politics is local. A ward chairman removed a national chairman. Simple. All of us heard that. A ward chairman, because his membership derived from his ward. So if we want to do politics, we cannot, let's even start by taking part in the elections first. Let's even go and determine those who we want to rule over us. Let's start from there. Go and vote first. Then you begin to, because if you're not even interested in voting, then it means you're not interested in who, in what happens in the country. So start from there. Politics is not easy. I will not lie to you. We've even done politics in JCI. Let us even take the small one we did in JCI and look at some of the things that happened along the way. Did we not learn lessons there? And as to bringing people into politics, first of all, you must show an interest to want to be in politics. You must show an interest before somebody would say, okay. I know 2 or 3 people who called me and said, I want to join. And we've started talking, we've talked, but you must show an interest. Because the truth of the matter is everyone is busy chasing after one thing or the other. So you as an individual must step forward and say, I am interested. How do I go about it? Perhaps when JCI as an umbrella body begins to look into how do we encourage our members, then we can put a pool of people who have been there together as resources, as people, resource base that you can go to and ask. Thank you for this opportunity. Politics is something that you cannot talk about in 1.5 hours. We have not even scratched the surface at all, but at least we have started, and I think that we have prodded some people's civic responsibilities to want to get involved. Let us all come on board. It takes, if a lot of us come in, we can do this thing. We can then begin to influence who gets what. But if we stay back, then these people we complain about will continue to do it, and we will continue to be where we are. Thank you so much, Senate Chair. Thank you, participants. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that closing statement. Before I go to BK, I see a comment here. I want to think that this person is not a JC, Olabisi Olusada. Can somebody please respond to her to try to get in touch with her? She's asking what is the meaning of JCI. So please, somebody from the organizing team, she sent a message at 5:25. So let somebody deal with that so that the person can be informed what JCI means. Just in summary, JCI is an organization for young professionals who want to be active citizens. It provides leadership and training opportunities for such persons to help create positive change in their countries. Ogala, please, 2 minutes, your closing statement. Are you with us?
My closing statement is simple. If I can, you can. If Joko can, you can. If Imao Draga can, you can. If Sabitos can, you can. Like Sabitos rightly said, you do sometimes do not need to join the very big parties. You do not have to. But if you want to play local, choose the locality. Bottom line, bottom up. Even if you have an Action Alliance was a star in Imo in the last elections. And I know what role Sabitos played and how I even came in at some point. It was a star. Accord Party, for instance, in Oyo State came. Accord Party did not just come from the blues. The man who carried the Accord Party through in Oyo State had paid his dues.
Yes.
He had paid his dues, Senator Ladoja. We talk about Abga in Imo, Abga in Anambra. When Abga came, they had a selling point. So if you think because one party did it, without thinking of how they did it, you talked about Desmond Elliott. Desmond Elliott was, I can confess I here, was a godfather who brought him on. And we saw some assets in him. I know I evolved. He was not too different. He had something to bring on board. So for you, who think you want to benefit from the same, what are you bringing on board? Can I get to your constituency and say, oh, the market women are rooting? Politicians, or those we call the godfathers, they are not stupid. They don't want to lose election. If they see merit in you, they see that you find a followership, they will come and beg you to even join them. They are also smart human beings. They are very smart. No leader wants to lose his followership, and no godfather wants to lose his godfatherism. No godfather wants to lose election. So if he perceives you as popular, he's the one who will come and say, look, let us work together. So, sir, what am I saying in all of this? Politics is not a dirty game. Politics is as dirty as we want to make it. And I will also say, if you say politics is dirty, should we let it continue to remain dirty? If you say it is for the pigs, we continue to leave it for the pigs. Because whether we like it or not, these are the players that define our day-to-day lives. A bad law by the National Assembly can ruin my business. It can ruin yours. So we will not go in and be part of the process. Process of change is slow. It can be, but it may be steady. You must start in your own little corner, in your ward. Go there, join the party of your friends, and start making a difference. If you say, I have mentored some within the party. I've got your house. I know Sabito's house. I know Imao Draga house. You too can do same. Join in your ward. Even if it's 2-3 people you can bring from the street to see you as a model, that is the starting point. And 4 years down the line, let us compare notes. But you cannot come in an election year, run for election, you don't make it disappear, and then 4 years after, you say you are coming with a brand new party. No matter how much you talk, people will go for those they can trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Senate Chair, thank you for the time that you've given to us to take closing comments. But before I hand over back to you, I know there will be proper introduction of people on the list who are participating. But I would be remiss not to recognize a very senior past national president who is with us, JCI Senator Muya Bangoshe. Thank you very much, sir, for participating on this program. We have several other past national presidents, past chairs of the Senate Association, and very senior senators. I want to believe that there are some recognitions will be done by the organizers. I hand over to you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a power-packed session. I'm already seeing some comments, and I do agree. Yes, we must have Learn Series 4, Part 2, Season 2, in whatever way you call it, because it's been a very, very interesting time. And I think we're just scratching the surface. There's so many questions that are coming out. There's so many people who want to get involved in politics. And we just want to know how to get into politics, but not only how to get into politics, how to make meaningful impact, sustainable impact, so that we can change the narratives around politics in Nigeria and nation building, because it's actually nation building. Thank you so much. I'm not going to be the one to give the vote of thanks. And I know there's so many people who have joined. I would love to recognize everyone. I thank all my members of JCI Nigeria Senate Association. I keep saying this, the time is ticking. October is around the corner. My 2-year tenure will be up, and I will join my past Senate chairman too. But let me start off for my past national presidents. Senator Muyiwa Bangushe has been recognized. I also saw earlier past President Senator Ebi Ankpa. I saw Senator Shenwo Shikaru. I think this is the first time he's joining us. I also noticed that we had some of our past Senate chairmen, GW Shoaga, Finton Ray, Semiteje, Cornelius Semiteje. Thank you all. And of course, 2 of the panelists are past Senate chairmen. And I know that some people from the diaspora, from our first panelist, Senator Patrick Bobegbe, I have Pastor Muyiwa, Pastor Niro Fafora, and Senator, he's also passed some comments. Colin Zolani from Ireland, he keeps joining us. I saw Bayo from Houston, who has also joined us. So I know the timing at times might not be the same. I don't want to leave anybody out. I hope I haven't. And it's the first time I'm seeing Senator Ali Kukiga, maybe because it's politics and it's an area of interest for her. And past EVP Dupe Ogunbiyi, I saw her earlier on. I hope she's still on. Professor Olajide Ajayi, I don't know if it's a guest, but I noticed that name. And I said, well, if a prof is joining our session, then it means that there's something that we're starting to do to attract the attention of some people. Dr. Felix Akugwenyi from Port Harcourt, and of course, Senator Estelle, also diasporan, and so many other people. But it's not to take for granted as senators in Nigeria. If I've left your name out, I apologize. It's not, I'm trying to also work within time because we said 90 minutes. I'd like to call on Senator Cornelius Semiteje, the immediate past Senate chairman, to give us vote of thanks, and we'll let you know the next session. We definitely have to do this politics season 2. It's too good to just let it end here. Senator Semiteje, please give us your closing remarks. Thank you. Your vote of thanks, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Senate Chair. From what has transpired this evening, it's obvious that JCI is a very resourceful organization, or JCI is an organization that is full of a lot of resources. Having said that, I would like to thank the Senate Chair and indeed the team behind the Learn series for what they have done this evening. Having said that, I would like to thank Senator Timeyin, the coordinator or the moderator for this session. You've done a very fantastic job. And I would like to thank the panelists, Senators Joko, BK, and Senator Anipo Woshe Kelani. You have all spoken very well, but like some participants have already said, we will need at least one more series to be able to do justice to this particular topic of the Learn series. And finally, I would like to thank all participants for finding time to be with us. I'll thank my former governor, His Excellency Emmanuel Duaga, for joining us. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, my immediate past chair. I know that all the comments, I'm trying to read so many comments at the same time. I'd like to also recognize past national president, Senator Tunde Ojo, Charter President of JCI Ikeja, my own chapter. I apologize, it's an oversight. And I would like to ask that please, as we sign on, let's use our name so that we can, if we see some iPhone or some name of devices and we don't know who the person is at times, it might be a bit difficult to acknowledge. Thank you very much. Somebody said the next session should be on the strategies on some of the things that we have talked about. And we thank our past governor of Delta State, our very own. I always say he's our own because he had his footing in JCI, Nigeria, Senator Imao Duaron. I'm looking forward to us having many more governors. Maybe we should start talking around the 2023 agenda. I know that, yes, JC is not a political, and then that takes us to some of the things we have discussed today. But we can't sit behind if we are talking about nation building, if we are talking about changing the narrative, if I'm talking about all the things we have mentioned today, and having my fellow sisters, you know, it's not only Senator Joko, we need to have more women in politics from JCI Nigeria. We have produced 5 past national female presidents. So my sisters, it's time for us to come up. Let's up our game. Let's get into national politics. We can start from our ward, from local, what have you. But I also like to specially thank our moderator today. He wasn't, you know, when we got him to moderate, I was like, yes, I know he's not a politician, but he has shown that he's not a politician, but he understands the language of politics. Thank you very much, Senator Timeyi Iweja-Momere. I think that maybe we will start seeing you on the national scene, or maybe we'll start from Delta State. We have Senator Umar Duaron as someone who will give you and show you the ropes from there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very
our
much.
next session is going to be August 9th. We're going to have August 9th and August 16th. And I believe that we'll invite many more people to join and we'll continue our discussions. Some of the questions have not been answered today, but we're looking at it and seeing how we can, you know, get this question answered. The aim of this Lent series is to put together the things we have talked about. We hope to come out with a compendium at the end of this series, which might run to a bit later in the year, so that JCI Nigeria Senate Association, in conjunction with JCI Nigeria, can position ourselves to be seen as the organization that is preferring solutions to some of the issues that are taking place in our country. We've talked about entrepreneurship, we talked about education, we've talked about health, we're talking about politics. Some of these things will have part 2 to them, but we need to continue to discuss and come together and agree on how we can go forward. Thank you very much, our panelists, for joining. We have exceeded our time by 11 minutes thereabout, but I'm sure you can agree with me that it's been a Sunday well spent discussing how we can move Nigeria forward in terms of politics and the experience of our panelists. I wish you all a lovely evening, and don't forget to tune in. We'll send all the details for the next session, which is coming up August 9th, and a follow-up on August 16th. Thank you very much. I recognize me, Lord, in the house, Senator Onyogala. Thank you so much for joining. And to everyone, Senator Godwin Udoidon, from North, from South, from East, from West, from Central, in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, thank you. We appreciate your support. And we believe that Nigeria indeed can be ruled by JCI Senate members and JCI members who have been empowered to be leaders, who are leaders of great intellect, who have experience, and who are going to change the story of what was Nigeria to be a better Nigeria. Thank you very much and have a lovely evening. God bless.
Thank you.
Senate Chair, are we staying on a bit? Just to catch up with the panel.
Yes, I think so. I don't know.
If people want to banter, they can banter for another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, so if you want